It started with a laugh that wasn't meant for me. A small, secret kind of laugh, one I hadn't heard from her in a long time. We were sitting on the couch, a documentary playing in the background. She was on her phone, eyes glowing softly in the screen's light, thumb tapping out something quick. Then came that sound. Not loud, not fake. A real laugh. Warm, alive, and not mine. I remember glancing at her, half expecting her to share whatever it was. She didn't. Just kept typing, smiling. I wish I could say that's when I knew. But truthfully, the knowing had been growing like mold in the corners of my mind for months. Quiet, creeping, ugly. We'd been married 6 years, and in the last one, I felt her drift. Not in some dramatic, stormy way, but like a ship pulling slowly away from dock. You don't hear it move. You just look up one day and realize the rope's gone slack. She stopped saying, "I love you" first. Stopped asking about my day. Stopped looking up from her phone when I walked in the room. At first, I chalked it up to stress. Work. Hormones. Life. Then, one night, as I came to bed, she was already asleep. Phone slipped from her hand. The screen was still on, and I saw his name. Ty. Just that. Not Tyler, not T. Just Ty. Intimate in its simplicity. It's funny how fast your heart can rearrange itself. 1 second, you're sleepy. The next, you're ice cold, staring at a screen you have no business reading, but can't look away from. I didn't open the thread that night. I placed the phone gently on her nightstand, kissed her forehead, and laid down next to her. My eyes didn't close. The next day, I asked her about him. Casual. Light. Like I wasn't choking on my own voice. She didn't flinch. "Oh, Ty? He's just a friend from work. We've been texting. He's funny. Helps the day go by." I nodded. Swallowed it. Didn't press. But something inside me started folding in on itself. It wasn't that she was texting someone. It was how she said it. No guilt. No shame. Just flat honesty, as if that was supposed to calm me. "It's just texting," she added, catching the look in my eye. "Nothing to worry about." I believed her. Because I wanted to. Because believing her was easier than admitting what I'd already started to suspect. But things didn't go back to normal. If anything, they grew colder. She laughed at her phone more. Smiled at it. Touched it like it mattered more than my hand. And when I tried to lean into her, emotionally or physically, she'd pull away. A small step back. A shift in posture. A delayed kiss. Every gesture whispered, "Not now." One night, after she'd gone to bed early, said she had a headache. I found myself standing in the hallway, staring at our bedroom door like it was a stranger's house. My chest ached with questions I couldn't ask. And then I did something I swore I'd never do. I opened her phone. I didn't do it to catch her. I did it to find us. Hoping maybe in her texts I'd find the woman I used to know. The one who used to send me grocery list memes and kiss emojis in the middle of the workday. But I didn't find us. I found them. Her texts with Ty weren't explicit, not in the way people imagine. No naked photos. No "I want you now." No plans to meet behind closed doors. They were worse. He called her sunshine. She called him my storm. He told her he couldn't sleep without her voice in his head. She said she dreamed about him every night. He asked about her favorite childhood memory. She answered in long, flowing paragraphs. She told him things I didn't even know. That she loved poetry but stopped reading it after college. That she used to play piano but quit when her dad said it was a waste of time. That she cried in the bathtub when I forgot our anniversary 3 years ago and pretended it didn't matter. She told him she felt invisible sometimes. That being married felt like being on mute. And that last one, that broke me. Because I never meant for her to feel that way. I thought I was showing up. I thought I was steady, reliable, good. I didn't realize good could be invisible. I sat there on the edge of our bed for hours, scrolling, heart shredding line by line. She had poured herself into this man. Her secrets, her regrets, her hopes. The intimacy wasn't in their bodies, it was in their words. And words were how she and I used to love. So when she told me, "It's just texting," I wanted to believe it. But what she texted him was everything she'd stopped saying to me. I didn't confront her that night. I couldn't. Not with tears choking me and my hands trembling so badly I almost dropped the phone. I just set it down, kissed her on the forehead one last time, and went downstairs. I sat in the dark kitchen, staring at the sink, listening to the sound of the refrigerator hum. And all I could think was, when did I stop being her person? When did she stop being mine? And was this how it always ends? Not with shouting. Not with betrayal in some motel room, but with silence, with just texting, with the one you love slipping away, word by word, into someone else's arms, and calling it harmless. For a few days after reading those texts, I did something strange. I tried to pretend I didn't know. Not because I was okay with it, but because I didn't know what else to do. I wasn't ready to confront her. I wasn't ready to lose her. And in some deeply twisted way, I thought maybe, just maybe, if I held still long enough, she'd come back. I'd watch her walk through the door after work and smile like she used to. I'd hear her laugh and convince myself it didn't belong to someone else. I'd sit beside her on the couch, pretending the glow on her face was from the TV, not from the man in her phone. But pretending doesn't make the pain go away. It just teaches you how to live around it. I started looking at her differently, not with suspicion, but with grief. Like I was watching someone I loved slowly fade into a version of herself I couldn't reach. Every time she laughed at her phone, it chipped away at me. Every text she sent felt like a goodbye she hadn't said out loud. One morning, I made her coffee, just the way she liked it. Hazelnut creamer, a splash of oat milk, 2 ice cubes. She smiled, said thanks, and went right back to her screen. I stood there for a minute, holding my own cup, waiting for her to ask me something. Anything. She didn't. She used to ask about my day before I even left the house. Now, she barely noticed when I left the room. I started waking up before her, staring at the ceiling, wondering how we got here. I'd look over and see her asleep, peaceful, beautiful, and feel like I was next to a stranger wearing my wife's face. I'd ask myself, what did I miss? Was it the way I came home late too often? The way I didn't always listen when she vented about work? Was it the way I forgot the small things, the notes, the spontaneous kisses, the inside jokes? Maybe I stopped noticing her, long before she stopped noticing me. Maybe I made her feel like a roommate with a shared mortgage and nothing more. And yet, knowing that, feeling all of that, I still couldn't justify what she was doing. She was giving someone else what she used to give me. Her words, her heart, her attention. One night, I heard her whispering in the kitchen. I stayed upstairs, out of sight, but I could hear her voice, soft, playful, the way it used to be with me. The kind of voice you use when you want to be chosen, when you want to be wanted. And I realized, I was still in love with a version of her that didn't exist anymore. The next day, I tried to reconnect. I asked her to have dinner, just the two of us, no phones, no distractions. She hesitated, said she had a lot of work, but eventually agreed. I made reservations at her favorite place. I even shaved, wore the shirt she once said brought out my eyes. I was trying. She showed up 10 minutes late, didn't apologize, spent most of the meal looking out the window or stirring her wine. When I reached across the table and touched her hand, she flinched, like my touch surprised her. Or worse, annoyed her. I feel like we haven't really talked in a while, I said gently. She looked at me and smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. We talk. Not like we used to. She shrugged. People change. That sentence hit me harder than any accusation, any fight. Not because it was cruel, but because it was true. People do change. And sometimes the person they become has nothing to do with the vows they once made. I paid the bill in silence. On the drive home, I watched her stare out the window like she was anywhere but next to me. That night, while she showered, I picked up her phone again. I knew I shouldn't have. I knew I was crossing a line. But I had to see if what I felt was real, or just paranoia wearing the mask of heartbreak. There were new messages from Ty. She sent him a photo of the dessert she didn't touch at dinner. He's trying again, she wrote. Poor guy still thinks I'm here. Ty responded with a laughing emoji, then, can't blame him. You were always too good for him. I just feel bad, she said. He's not a bad man. He just stopped being the one I wanted. Don't waste your guilt, Ty replied. You deserve better. You deserve real. I sat there with the phone in my lap, hands numb, air thick in my lungs like I'd forgotten how to breathe. She didn't just betray me. She pitied me. She didn't say I hurt her. She said I wasn't enough. And maybe that was the worst of it. Not the cheating, not even the lies, but the quiet conclusion she came to, that I was no longer worth choosing. I put the phone down, walked to the bathroom. She was still in the shower, humming some song I didn't recognize. And I realized I couldn't pretend anymore. She was already gone. All that was left was a decision I hadn't made yet, but would soon. I didn't sleep that night. I watched her breathe beside me, her back turned like always. I memorized the way the moonlight traced her shoulder. I tried to remember the last time I held her while she slept. I couldn't. The decision came quietly. Not like thunder, like fog. It crept in, settled, and didn't leave. I knew I was going. I just didn't know how to say goodbye to someone who didn't think she'd done anything wrong. She had convinced herself that because it wasn't physical, it wasn't cheating. That because I still had a place in our bed, I still had a place in her heart. But hearts don't lie, and hers had already been mailed, piece by piece, to someone else. So I started packing small things. Essentials. Quietly, over days. A sweater here, a pair of shoes there. I'd bring them to the trunk of my car when she was at work. I left the ring in its box on the dresser. I couldn't bear to throw it out. The night I left, she was in the living room, watching something on Netflix. I stood in the doorway for a minute, watching her laugh at something on screen. Effortless, beautiful, unreachable. I wondered if time made her laugh like that in person, or just through text. She looked up, finally. You okay? I nodded. Yeah, just heading out for a bit. She didn't ask where. She didn't ask when I'd be back. I drove to a friend's place across town. Slept on the couch. He didn't ask questions. Just tossed me a blanket and poured me a whiskey. The next morning, I sent her a message. Not angry. Not dramatic. Just honest. You once told me you felt invisible. I never meant for that to happen. I hope one day you find what you're looking for. I just can't keep trying to be it. She didn't reply. Later that week, I filed for separation. The lawyer asked if I wanted to cite emotional infidelity. I said no. What good would that do? I wasn't looking for revenge. I was looking for peace. A few days after the papers arrived, she called me. Voice soft. Measured. Like she'd practiced it. I never meant to hurt you, she said. I sat with that for a moment. You didn't try not to. Silence. Did you love him? I asked. I don't know, she whispered. I just felt seen. And there it was. That word again, seen. Like I'd made her invisible. Like love only counts when someone's watching. Maybe I had failed her. Maybe I got too comfortable. Stopped chasing her the way I did when we were new. Maybe I forgot that love doesn't stay alive on its own. You have to feed it. Speak to it. Look it in the eye. But love, real love, also doesn't look outside the window just because the light dims inside. It doesn't go looking for someone new to tell your secrets to. It turns back toward the hard work. The painful conversations. The grace. She didn't do that. She chose silence with me and poetry with him. And I couldn't fight for someone who was already writing love stories in another language. I spent months rebuilding. Not dating. Not rushing. Just healing. I started therapy. Took long walks. Read books I'd forgotten I owned. I found a playlist we made on our honeymoon and deleted it without crying. I got a dog. Started cooking again. Laughed again. And sometimes, I still think about the night I found those messages. The way her words to him were everything I used to ache to hear from her. Not the sexy stuff. The soul stuff. The I miss you. The you make me feel alive. The I wish you were here. She used to say those to me. Now she says them to a man who probably still thinks she's just texting. But I don't hate her. I don't wish her pain. I hope she finds what she's been chasing. Because me? I found something too. Silence. The kind that isn't empty, but finally, full of peace.